We are back 300 years before the Waste War, where we learn that there is a food shortage and that now because of it, there will be another war for the remaining food. The human being, ladies and gentlemen. During the military academy's welcome ceremony, things get completely out of hand because Major Schmelman Bach, practically the director of the school, was interrupted by these three who wouldn't be quiet, and Alexandra proceeds to finish them off. This causes all the students to panic, and since Hina broke down in tears while sitting defeated on the ground, she was almost sent to heaven too. However, she is saved at the last minute by Sakai Takakazi, a young swordsman who turns out to be Licht's brother. To stop all this ruckus, Licht takes Major Schmelman hostage. The Major challenges him to snap his neck, but Licht refuses, reiterating that he will never kill anyone. Upon hearing his response, the Major tells him that he will be the one to finish him off. He proceeds to spread an evil aura that begins to suffocate everyone, but before he can do anything else, he is stopped by one of the managers, who explains to the boys that all this was a test and that they really didn't kill anyone. To prove her words, she tells them that the bullets Alexandra used were paint bullets. In the next act, the three students previously finished off proceed to get up, surprised that they did not die. After this strange experience, the group begins to investigate and discovers that one day a device that contained ballots inside fell from the sky. These were built by highly advanced beings and they had the power to make desired decisions come true. Not only that, but they decided to name it Althing. Exactly, just like the strange hands of the modern era. Later, Major Schmelman explains to all the students that they will each receive 2 stars. They can also collect more by doing tasks or activities. However, to prevent stars from being stolen from each other, a game called Star Stake has been created, which is a hand-to-hand combat, and whoever loses will have to give the stars they have to the winner. It is the same as the Star Stake of the future. A very important fact is that the one who can collect 10 stars will be able to graduate instantly, but the one who is left without any will be expelled. After this, the Major proceeds to hand out stars to everyone except Licht because he wants to test his determination. He tells him that he can take a star from any of his teammates and that he only has 3 days to do it before he gets kicked out. After this, we find out that Licht entered the academy to prevent his brother from becoming a soldier, but Tokizaki is determined to become one at all costs. His main reason for doing so is so that his grandmother can have something to eat, given that the soldiers have ensured food for every soldier's family. One day, all the students in Licht's class realize that their stars have been stolen. Naturally, they blame Licht since he is the only one who wasn't given any. Fortunately for him, Hina comes to his rescue, telling them that he would never do that. Then they suddenly hear Sonohara yelling because a big guy named Don was stealing her stars. The group quickly rushes to her rescue, having realized that he is the real culprit stealing stars from them. When Tokikaze is about to stop him, Don threatens him, telling him that if he doesn't give him his stars, he will end his grandmother's life.
Okay, dog, it's like this. You drive us to the bank, or the fat lady gets it, say? Yeah, the fat lady gets it.
Because of this, Tokokaze has no choice but to surrender. So Don continues stealing, and it is in this way that almost the entire class runs out of stars. But just when hope was lost and resignation was setting in, Licht comes up with an idea that guaranteed the class's survival. He proposes that they share their stars. However, since there are not enough stars, Tokikaze and Licht are left without any. But of course, Licht comes up with another plan to help his brother. They are going to trick Don and take away the stars he stole. The plan turns out to be a complete success as they manage to get all the stars back. After a few days of living together, Licht's class reaches an agreement and together they promise that they will become an army that does not kill. Surprisingly and suspiciously, the idea of a pacifist army is supported by the Major. Everyone except Jail celebrated. He had a feeling the Major had a hidden card up his sleeve, so he began to follow him. And sure enough, he ended up in an underground facility located under the school. It is here that he finds out that they are experimenting on children to give them powers like the one the Major has. These powers are born from a magical connection with ballots, and if the experiments are successful, they could turn the tide of the coming war and actually win it. Jael has some pretty close calls of being caught, but he is helped by a girl who, after looking at her well, he realizes is Nana. Young Nana guides him toward her room where she tells him that her future self told her that someone from the future would come back to the past and that she had the responsibility to help him. She also tells him that there are several children who have undergone surgery so that they could have powers like her, but they did not survive the procedure and ultimately died. Likewise, while she is telling him this, she tells him that Licht is the next kid to be operated on. Hearing all this makes Jael come to the conclusion that the purpose of his trip to the past is to prevent Licht from undergoing the surgery and later becoming a murderous ace. The conversation ends with Nana giving him a flash drive and telling him that there must be a reason why she sent them back to the past. Before leaving, Jael promises to play with her when he returns to the future. He hurries out of there and is about to use the elevator to return to the school, but he is discovered by Alexandrov, who accuses him of trespassing and a fight breaks out between them. Despite the fact Alexandrov is very clearly Jael's adoptive father, Jael is a bit slow to recognize him. He finally identifies him through Alexandrov's fighting. Before his father has a chance to kill him, Jael lets him know he is his adoptive son from the future, and after talking for a while, Alexandrov takes the group to a neighborhood hoping they realize the experiments are a necessity. He wants to show them that society is so rotten to the point that they would kill a child for a little food.
どうした?うまいぞ。
Alexandrov tells them that they shouldn't change the past because Licht must be operated on so that the war can be won and Alcia can be built. If they stop the surgery, they will cause everyone they know to disappear. The days go by and the students go to the beach. To play a game of capture the flag where they are given some paint guns. The rules are simple. The person who is hit by a bullet will be out of the game, and the team that manages to take the flag away from their opponent wins. Licht's class sets out to win the match without shooting anyone, beating their first few opponents using only strategies. But in their second fight, using only his mind to develop a plan doesn't work as well because the opposing team has Doan, who with brute force tries to take his flag from them. However, they manage to lure Doan into a trap and they win the game, which makes the class reinforce their ideal of becoming the first army that doesn't kill. And since Licht was the one who led them during the game, they named him as the class commander. He becomes the official leader of the group. One of those days, the major is informed that he has been betrayed by his allies, so he must carry out the experiments on humans to have a chance at winning the war. Since the operation consists of transfusing his blood to another person so that they can achieve the link with the ballot, not many people are compatible. But guess who is compatible? Our protagonist. When told about the operation, Licht agrees to go through with it as this would help him achieve his goal of creating an army that doesn't kill. For a moment, Line wants to prevent this from happening so that Licht doesn't suffer and turn into a psychopath with a split personality. But Jael makes her understand that they cannot change the past and put the future of all the people of Alcia at risk. They must think of the greater good. The day of the operation arrives, and obviously all of Licht's friends are worried. At one point, Line feels guilty for wanting to save Licht instead of helping the rest of the world. Her friends console her and tell her that she should not feel bad because he is not a bad person and he has always helped those who need it. Her conversation is interrupted by Hina, who tells she has an idea that will prevent Licht from becoming an assassin. After hearing her idea, the group comes to the conclusion that if Licht and his class actually manage to become the first army that doesn't kill and wins the war, things can change for the better in both the past and the future. Licht wouldn't stain his hands with blood, and Alcia could be created without any problem. The idea is so good that it is even supported by Jael, but while they are planning, they are interrupted by Commander Alexandrov, who informs them that Licht's surgery is a success. This makes everyone happy, but said happiness doesn't last long as the school gets attacked and several students die without even processing what's happening around them. The commander manages to take refuge with our group and is contacted by the doctor in charge of the surgeries. The doctor tells them that the war was started that same day in an effort to end the experiments. He also tells Alexandra that they need to activate the emergency generator because Licht's surgery is not over yet, and if they don't do it as soon as possible, Licht will die. The group wastes no time and gets down to work. On the way toward the generator, 2 members of their group get injured. Hina, who all this time had been learning first aid, stays to heal them. On the other hand, when the others get to where the generator is, they see that it is surrounded by enemy soldiers. So in order for the boys to get through, Alexandrov creates a distraction in which he ends up getting hit by a bazooka. The good thing about this is that it was worth it since the guys successfully activate the generator and Licht's operation completes. The theory of white hair in the successfully operated characters is confirmed. Licht wakes up and upon learning of the current situation, he goes to heroically save his friends. But before he leaves, the Major gives him a replica of a mallet in the form of a sword and lets him know that this weapon will multiply his abilities, causing him to have extreme power. Also, to gain even more power as if that weren't enough, he activates a count that will be linked to whatever oath he wishes. Licht arrives on the battlefield and knocks out all the enemy soldiers as if they were nothing more but ragdolls. After destroying the enemy war helicopters, Licht thinks that everything is over, but the enemy threatens to blow up the school using a nuclear bomb, and if he doesn't want that to happen, his only option is to kill them. Licht obviously refuses, but the leader of the enemy soldiers pressures him so much that he finally gives in and breaks his promise never to kill. Worse still, it turns out that all this was a hoax and the objective was for Licht to stain his hands with blood so that he realizes that the idea of a pacifist army is impossible. Licht tries to hide his pain and pretend that he's okay, but he ends up running away in despair.